Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, May 1st, only on Netflix.
Greetings.
Greetings, earthlings.
That was offensive.
Yeah, well, it was offensive to me that you didn't enjoy getting railed by an alien.
Yeah, because that's offensive to my people. Maybe if it's about Ghost, I could have been more on board.
I'll actually send him a message for a request.
I'm sure he's probably already written it.
I hope he's on Cameo. I can get you a custom insert your name
good.
here.
Thank you. No, thank you. That would be the biggest waste of money. Donate that money to a charity.
This is a charity, my happiness.
Mm-mm.
No, the way I would love that so much. You don't know what we're talking about. We talked about it in our Fisting Friday episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Quan Mills, is that his name?
Yes.
I knew I'm getting to you. You even remembered his name?
Because his name's been floating around for years because people talked about him on Black Twitter.
I kept calling him Quan Smith, and Mott's was like, who is Quan Smith?
Hit the Quan. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where it came from. But welcome, everyone. This is an advice podcast where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice.
Where'd you get that sweater?
I thrifted it.
I like the line.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, on the other side.
Yes. Yeah, it's I got it in Colorado. We went to like thrift store, and I got another sweater too. And Mat's mom loves the ones I got. She's like, these are so cute and stylish. And the last time she was here, she was like, do you wear those? And I was like, I wear them all the time. She goes, ugh, I love them. I always think about how cute you look to them. And I was like, thanks, girl.
That's sweet.
I know. And I do look cute in them.
You do.
I look great in a bright color.
You do.
And I wore white for so long.
Welcome.
Yeah. No, I don't know what I was doing. I look good in a white, but gray? No. Gray is not my color.
Your whole life was just beige.
I know. And no, girl. No, nah. Well, why are we qualified to give advice, Melissa?
Because we exist, we breathe. We were birthed into this world as...
And some of us got clenched a little too hard and got a cone head.
Well, both of us did, but one of us had that fixed.
Yeah. One of us had attentive, non-neglectful parents. The other has a lot of volume at her crown. Naturally. And
see if you can figure out who.
Yeah, watch the Patreon. See the video version. Check it out. We also do live streams twice a month. You can support the show that way if you would like. Anyways, we're giving advice. My advice to the Republicans.
Bite it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a big, tall bridge and ever wondered what it's like at the bottom? Have you ever
thought about soaring?
Soaring? Like flying?
Yes. Not.
Yeah, flying.
Yeah.
With your body.
Mm-hmm.
I think you, and by the way, a lot of you look really aerodynamic.
Yeah.
I could just.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Drifting through the wind, wanting to start again. Katie, join them. Anyways, we're going to give advice. You can give us a call at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. You can also fill out the form that is listed in the description as well as in the bio of our socials. Melissa also posts it on the story on our Instagram ahead of time.
Yeah, I posted last night. Forgot a little too late. But they're very themed. And if you can crack, well, it's too late now. But
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you got to crack the code.
I like cracking codes.
Mm-hmm.
So I love National Treasure so much.
Yes.
But for the audio ones, you have to keep it under 3 minutes. For the written versions, keep it under 300 words. It is all anonymous, but we do ask that you include your age because it is helpful to know for the context of it all. Create some fake names, but tell us all the important details. Otherwise, we're giving like half-baked advice. We want to give you good advice.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell us if you're sensitive. We will. We're not going to be mean to you. We're not going to bully you unless you say, please bully me. And even sometimes when you say that, we're not going to do it.
Usually if you say it, you're self-aware enough to know that you don't actually need to be bullied.
But hey, we love, if you're delusional, call in. We love that too.
Yeah.
Big fan of delusional queens here. Shall we get into the first?
Let's do it.
Hey, Meghan and Melissa, longtime listener, first time reaching out. So I am 32, she, her, and I've been dealing with this friendship, quote unquote, for like 6 years now. And honestly, it's been a whole thing. We were work wives for a bit and even roommates for a hot second, but it was never a deep connection, you know? More like a forced proximity situation. I'm the kind of friend who's always there at the drop of a hat if someone needs me. And this person totally took advantage of that over the years. It's been draining AF, mentally, physically, emotionally. So she moved to another city last year for a new chapter, got a new boo and everything. But then, out of left field, she's blowing up my phone wanting to hang out again. I've been ignoring her, and then she has the audacity to text my partner, being all dramatic like, oh, guess she was never really my friend. IDK, why I even bother? I gasped so hard I spit. I'm not kidding. So manipulative and childish, especially for someone in their 30s. The irony? She's pulled way worse ghosting stunts on me in the past. Talk about not being able to take what you dish out. I'm just at this point in my life where I'm over trying to force energy into relationships that aren't a two-way street. So I'm curious about your take on how to handle this moving forward. For what it's worth, she's a Gemini and I'm a Capricorn. Total air and earth sign clash, maybe. Anyway, hit me with your wisdom. Thanks. Objectively, I think this is fucking crazy.
I just keep ignoring her and block her number on both your phone and your partner's phone.
If someone texted Mons, by the way, people have, but like.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. I would have to give like a caveat. But like.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
That's so weird. Like, we've bypassed social media. I don't know if you're on social media, but we've bypassed social media. We're just going straight to the partner. That's weird.
No, that's super fucking weird.
Just like ignore her, keep ignoring her, and actually, you know what? Maybe ignore her, but don't block. I was gonna say block, but don't block. You need evidence.
Keep tabs.
Uh-huh.
You gotta keep tabs. Yeah, this sounds like someone who's gonna show up at your door and be like, and honestly, maybe even show up at your door and pretend like nothing has happened. Be like, hey girl. Missed you, girl.
Why do you know where I live?
So yeah, I agree with Melissa. Like, keep ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
Don't block her. Keep the tabs on her. Have your partner block her though. Like, I don't think that that's necessary, especially if he's like, is he good at this, or is like this he the kind of person where you're like, send me the screenshot, and he's like, yeah, I'll send you the screenshot. Which like needs to be on top of it. Thankfully, I am with an A1 gossip. I'm with that kind of it. So like when this shit happens, he gives me all of the details immediately. Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of, yesterday, after we finished recording the other episodes, I get a call from him middle of the day. We wasn't texting. So of course, PTSD from the time he shattered his hand and called me. And I always have to like quell that voice in my head when I see him call me out of the blue in the day.
Anybody calls me in the middle of the day, I think it's an emergency.
Yeah. And especially if he hasn't like texted me like, hey, do you have our mortgage? Like I sent the confirmation code, like whatever, nothing, like no preamble. And I answer the phone and I think I'm being crazy because I'm like, okay, chill, Megan. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he goes, don't freak out. And I was like, oh my God. So like something is wrong. And he goes, I'm on my way to urgent care. I cut my hand at work. And I was like, are you
What is wrong with him?
The opposite hand.
You would think that this man works in construction.
No, and the way that like, we're like, he's like, I'm going to start like making, because I was like, we can like make food ahead for you for lunch. And like, you know, we can do it on a weekend together and then you can bring it to work. And I need to start doing that stuff too, because like, I'm not going to stand up in the middle of the day to make myself lunch like that. I only really do leftovers. And so the first day he decides, I'm going to make myself a sandwich at work. Someone walks in and he starts talking to them and he's like, well, and I looked up and then I just cut my hand. And I was like, oh my God.
Why was he using a sharp knife for a sandwich anyway?
I also had questions because it was like cold cuts and bread. And I'm like,
was he
is it the bread?
spreading? Maybe he was spreading mustard or something on it.
But he cut it.
I know. That's why I'm like, why was he using a sharp knife?
I don't know. And then yesterday for dinner, I asked him if he could grab me a knife and he brought me a butter knife. And I was like, we're eating pork tenderloin. Why did you get me a butter knife? I could cut it with a butter knife. It was cooked well, but like not well done, but like, you know, I cooked it well.
It was tender.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you what, pulled out a samurai sword out here to like, for a baguette?
But also like he was talking so animated that he cut his hand.
And apparently like the person who saw it just like screamed and like freaked out. And I was like, yeah, that is traumatizing. I was like, you should apologize. Yeah. So anyways.
The two of you, I worry about that home.
Honestly, fair fucking point. You need to meet our neighbors and you'll worry a little less. Because they have their shit together.
I understand that, but they're not inside your home.
No, but they do worry. Did I not tell you? Oh, how I got a text from one of them the other day in the morning being like, hey, like, are you good? And I was like, yeah, why? And they're like, the police are in your driveway. We just want to make sure you're okay. We'll come, like, and they were like, if you didn't respond, I was just going to come over. They just saw an open driveway and decided to park there instead of on the fucking street. I'm like, can you move?
At that point, they're on private property.
I know.
That's trespassing.
I know.
You could have taken them to court.
I kind of wanted to go out there and say something, and I got dressed to do that. And by the time I got dressed, they were gone. But I also was standing out there and staring at them, taking videos for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. I was getting the town tea.
There's so much open parking on the street.
Melissa, there's not even street cleaning days. You can park on either side of the street at all times. It's a wide ass fucking street too.
Okay.
I know. So, moral of the story. This friendship is clearly done. Now you need to treat her like your potential stalker. So
yeah, your ex-work wife.
Yeah. I have to say though, it is crazy of like the forced proximity of being like, you know, quote unquote friendship, 6 years, we worked together. She's my work wife, and then we were roommates. That's like a little more than I would normally do.
Yeah. For a hot second though, maybe that's when things start getting weird. You're like, we're kind of friends at work.
Sure. I have to say 6 years.
6 years is a long time.
It's kind of a long time.
But there are people that I've known 6 years that I wouldn't consider like close friends.
Yeah, totally. But you wouldn't move in with them.
No. But I did live with my roommate for like 4 years. And
well, that's not a friend.
We probably talked
3 times?
Like, hi, hello. I would say like hours wise, we probably talked maybe an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you said anything more than an hour, you're fucking lying. Yeah, this is
like combined from hi, hello, all that.
Yeah, that's you add those together. I think I'd say like 46 minutes.
Yeah.
So, time for another friend, and just keep an eye out for Selena. Next one.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. If you've ever shopped online, and let's face it, who hasn't? Chances are you've bought something from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes things easier, and not just for shoppers. They make it easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. It gives you a leg up from day dot, with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style so you can get up and running fast. You can tackle your important tasks, from inventory to payments to analytics and more, all in one place. You can also spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools built for you to find and keep new customers. And remember that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already know and love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
All right, we're back.
Woo! Time for the next.
I, 26 she/her, am attending grad school this fall. I'm attending one in my home state on the East Coast with a great scholarship and reasonable cost of living. However, since college, I've always wanted to travel and eventually move away from my home state for a few years. I'm a Sag rising stereotype without the money to follow through on impulse. I don't know what that is.
Think of like a Sag as someone who, and I don't mean this in like a derogatory way, but it's like, it's the energy of like your friend who like met a band and just is going to go on tour with them. And like, turns out they end up being like incredibly famous and like they're obsessed with her. Okay. Like Sages have this like wanderlust, like drop of the hat, impulsivity kind of nature, but that's also paired with like fun. You want to be like, you want like a fun Sag friend, but like if a Sag is your roommate, you go, I really hope they don't just move out next week and like live in Istanbul. Like that kind of vibe.
I studied abroad in college and moved for grad school previously after undergrad. Moved back home a few years ago. But COVID, stress, and money all got in the way of me traveling more consistently. Because of this, I applied to some school out of state and have some regrets not choosing the California school that accepted me. Even though I've always wanted to live somewhere warm year-round, I turned it down because of costs. I would rather move cross-country with some financial stability after I graduate instead as a broke student. Yes, I'm a Taurus sun. You got to explain.
Yeah, I also know nothing about Taurus women.
But I can't stop thinking that it makes more sense to move for school rather than the start of a career. I also have a mental block around moving at 30, even though I know 3 years isn't a huge difference. My plan right now is to use school breaks to travel and see if I really do want to live in California specifically or somewhere else entirely, or if I just need to scratch the travel itch and stay local. Am I wrong for thinking it makes sense to explore more before potentially moving out of state? Am I self-sabotaging by trying to wait for the perfect moment? Any advice you have around career changes, moving, and late 20s life panic is so appreciated. I'm not sensitive, so feel free to give it to me straight. Thank you both.
I, in general, think moving to any expensive city is the best time to do it. Like if finances are a factor at all for you, when it's a job, because you'll be paid according to that state. as opposed to like going for
I
school.
moved for school.
But if you're stressed about like the finance aspect of it and being like, I'm going to pick this other one because this one, if that's like a big stress for it, then I think like a job, that's not people move here for jobs all the time.
Yes, agree. But I do think it's easier to live cheaper when you're a student.
Yeah.
And you have
less required of you.
Yes, you have less required of you. You are able to take advantage of things on campus. And, like the roommate situation is different.
And most people, your peers are also broke.
Yes.
That's helpful.
Exactly. So, and I think that I think like what you're saying is like using your breaks as time to travel, because before I moved here, like it was mid-20s. I moved here mid-20s and I came out here numerous times to work on student films, which is free work, but I did it to see if I would actually like living here. And I think like doing some type of working activity is different than just coming to visit, because like that joke that's like the millennial urge of when I go on a vacation and I'm like, I could live here.
Yeah. LA is really different working versus social.
So if there's a way that you can do some type of activity, like let's say during your breaks, if you decide not to come for school, maybe you could do a semester here during the summer or something like that. Take a class that will also count towards your degree. Like doing something, an internship would be a great way to come out to California and see if you actually like living here.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know where you said you're attending an East Coast school.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what state that's in, there are some like East Coast states that have like or even if you're like just a train, like a close commute to New York, there are like people who, without a doubt, who are in grad school on the West Coast, who are from the West Coast, who eventually want to get to the East Coast, who you can be like, hey, let's do a housing swap for the summer while they have an internship somewhere in New York and you have an internship somewhere in LA. But I agree with that. I think that, I assume you've been to California before.
Yeah.
California is wonderful. It's amazing. There's a huge difference. Like, I think the best thing that you could do is like work on breaking down the hangups you have about like moving at 30 and doing all of those kinds of things. I don't think
any of that matters.
No, because once you get here, you will like, that's such an anomaly feeling in Los Angeles. Like, we are just at a different, people have kids here later, people get married later, like people like pivot career path. People have multiple jobs, so many different things all at the same time.
And also like the age gap of your friends also is bigger too. Like you're not just going to be around people your age, you're going to be around people younger and older. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And some people move here like straight out of high school. Some people move here when they're 40. Like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I think that like being able to break down these like kind of like expectations will be helpful, because the first time you move to LA, you're not going to end up in your like forever neighborhood. You're probably not going to like your apartment. Like, it's LA, people move a lot.
Yeah.
People like, you're lucky if you get a place that eventually you can stay for more than a couple. But like, I was moving like the first couple of years because you're trying to figure out, it's a huge fucking city. And so making sure that's like, you're getting a taste of the city, but also like you're okay with change.
Yeah.
Because I would say that this is, compared to like my friends on the East Coast, there's just a little bit more of a track that like the people that I know are on. And I mean, and all the people Mats knows, like it's just a little bit of a different vibe. Like I know people who are in their late 30s who've like done complete career shifts and pivot changes here. And obviously that happens everywhere. But I think if you're resistant or hesitant towards, or you're just associating your age with a certain place you should be at and all of that kind of stuff, the sooner you can get rid of that mindset, the more that you will really, I think, really love California. But also maybe you don't want to move to LA.
Yeah, it could be whatever. But you just want to make sure that you're in the part. Because like people, if it's LA, I didn't think you mentioned LA, but you did say California. But like, since we live in California, I mean in LA, then it's easier for us to talk on it. But like, there are so many different areas of LA too. Like when people are like, ooh, LA, Hollywood, like that means you just didn't find, you were trying to keep up with the Joneses and you didn't find your actual neighborhood that you should be in.
Yeah. It's not all just transplants, but also LA's very welcoming of transplant. Like that's just kind of the culture of it. But yeah, I would also advise like when you travel to like do stuff solo, like not just like if you have a friend who's got like an established life there, like sure, see them. But if you kind of just go along with their life, that will not be the life that you have.
Yeah. When I came out here to work on the films and stuff, like I stayed with a friend that I had gone to college with in Arkansas, but like I was so busy doing the other stuff. Like I only saw her when I came home.
Yeah.
And I think that's more real, giving me like, it gave me more of a realistic feel of what the city actually was.
Yeah. And also you can like move to a city in California and be like, I don't love it here. And the great thing about it is we're a huge fucking state. Like there's so many other places to be. And there's also people who like don't move to like, especially if it's like a San Diego or something, they like move in like way later, established in their career, and then they work remotely for an East Coast company out here. So there's so many different ways, and they're never going to be too late to move to California. Like it's a state that, think of it like Florida. Like old people also move here. But I love it. So
me too.
I wonder what I would be really curious about. We obviously won't share it, but send us an email with the school that you're going to. And then the California school that you're missing, that you're feeling bad about. Because I will tell you bad things about the school to make you feel better.
I only know things about one school, so that's all I can speak on.
I can tell you about.
Yeah, you were part of the. This
can tell you all about it. In my head, they're going to UConn.
Oh, on the East Coast. I was like, what are you talking about?
I love the ice cream at UConn. Love the cafeteria. Okay.
I made ice cream this past weekend. It's pretty good.
What flavor?
Blueberry.
Why do I know that?
Because I posted on my Instagram.
I was like,
blueberry is such a random flavor.
Okay. I was like, why do I fucking know that? I'm just a fan.
Wow. Talk about, you want to go back to that first write-in.
I'm obsessed.
Stalker.
You guys, I just found the most incredible Mother's Day gift. It's called Goldbelly. Goldbelly is this amazing site where you can get the most iconic foods from restaurants all across the U.S., shipped anywhere in the country for free in time for Mother's Day. We're talking cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, and New York bagel brunches. Make Mother's Day perfect with Goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code MOM. That's Goldbelly.com, promo code MOM.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the U.S. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Ready? Yeah. Should I do the next one?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Meghan and Melisa, huge fan. Thank you. So quick rundown. I am 20, finishing a sophomore year. Met this guy freshman year, became official last spring. It got serious fast. Future talks, the works. Thought he was, quote unquote, the one. Then, right before our 1 year, he broke up with me. Sucked. Didn't talk for 2 months, then he apologized. No bad behavior, just got freaked out by the seriousness and length. It was new for him. My own life's been a bit much with anxiety and depression. Plus, I switched majors, so I've got 2 more college years, which I'm excited about, but I know it's a factor for him moving forward. So my question, is it healthy to have a super chill, laid-back relationship if both people are cool with it? I'm happy with casual, but exclusively dating. No others, but no pressure on long-term stuff like marriage and kids. Just enjoying now, being happy where we are, and talking openly if things ever get tough, which he says he's up for. Ever been there? Would love your advice on the pod. Thanks.
You're 20. That's all you should be doing.
I'm really confused what the difference between this and a relationship is.
I think like just dating and not focusing on the future is what
Are you in Utah? Like this?
She's like, just date. Like you can be together without talking about marriage and a family because you're 20.
Yeah. Thinking someone is the one at 20 is crazy. I think you both need to pretend that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you're starting back from where you are.
You're just together. Let's just be together.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the future.
No, and like, but I think if you put so much stress on being like, we're really casual, don't do that. Like, you're just in a relationship and you're dating. Because I think the more you say like, we're casual, like we're chill, we're laid back. To me, that's like, okay, he's going to start fucking other people.
Exactly. Like you will be fucking other people. He's fucking other people. And in that sense, you have an open relationship, but you're still in a relationship.
Yeah. I don't know what like a chill, laid back relationship is, because the alternative is a high strung, stressful relationship. No. I have to assume you are in like Utah or like the South, any other place where people get married young.
Yeah, but
like, is this different than your friends in relationships? Are they like, wow, you guys are like really casual?
Yeah.
So remove the word casual and just pretend that all of that other stuff never happened and you're dating and that's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I think if he freaks out and you're like, okay, like how can I dial it back even more? Leave. Be done. Because
he's like, what do you mean you don't want to lock it down? Also, like, you also said something like, I switched majors, so I've got 2 more college years. You're a sophomore. That's what usually happens. Yeah, like, just live your college life in your relationship where you're not talking about marriage.
Yeah. Casual but exclusively dating is an oxymoron to me. Casual is
I think it could be like in a way of like, I see him once a month, but we're only seeing each other. That's casual, but exclusively dating.
Yeah,
that's boring.
And someone's lying.
Yeah.
This to me, like, I think like I would just watch your phrasing of this and watch how much you like downplay this, because like at a certain point you're going to downplay it enough to like, he's going to introduce you as like, hey, this is my homie. And like, that sucks.
But he's ready to lock it down too.
I'm a little confused about this.
I need to know where you are.
I would put money on Utah.
If you are there, we have other things to discuss first.
If you're in Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get you out.
Yeah. Expeditiously. And if that's marriage, then okay, that's marriage. But we're getting you out of Utah.
Yeah.
Get out of Provo, girl.
Yeah.
Provo has like these just beautiful girls just in a these beautiful girls and these gay men in a chokehold. I'm like, get them out of there. And put them on Dancing with the Stars. That's where they're supposed to be.
I keep seeing all these TikToks and I'm like, save yourselves. But they don't know that they need to be saved.
No, they don't. Have you ended up on the ones of people who grew up Mormon in other states who are not white, and then they get like recruited or scouted or massive scholarships to go to
BYU?
Yes. And then they get there and they go, hold up. And I'm just like, that I think should be illegal. Like, I think that like that is a whole other, because like, what do you mean that like you tailored the way that you taught these kids religion in a way that was omitting a massive part of like the text of this shit
identity?
Yes. And then you're going to send them to a college where they like, oh, cool, lots of people like me. And it's like, no. We were taught to hate you biblically.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. Which I'm excited about, but I know it's a factor for him moving forward. How old is this man?
Yeah, you didn't tell us that.
Why does he care you have 2 more years of school?
Mm-hmm.
If he's old, out. And by old, I mean anything over 23.
Yep. If you didn't listen to But Am I Wrong, go back and listen to it. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into the last one.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
How does weather work? What's the secret to having a great conversation? How do most wealthy people get that way? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. Each episode covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and listen, we've got over 1,000 episodes, over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know, wherever you listen.
All right, we're back. Meghan and Melisa. So I'm 27, she, her, and I'm having a significant issue with my current, maybe soon to be former circle of friends.
Whoa, okay.
Over the past year, I've gone through a pretty substantial life overhaul. No more drinking, finally got healthy, and my mental well-being is more solid. I feel fantastic and am excited for the future. The problem is my friends. Some I've known forever, best friends since 13, and others I got close to a couple years ago. They're not exactly supportive of this new me, which sucks because I'm genuinely happy. Instead, they constantly bring up who I used to be, someone I've worked hard to move past. I used to have a pretty active casual dating life, no judgment, but it's like they can't let it go. This weekend, I was with a great guy I'm seeing, and all my visiting friend wanted to talk about were my past hookups and how I used to drink all the time. It honestly made me feel awkward. I'm seeking guidance on navigating this with my friends, or if it's even worth trying. It may be time for a friend upgrade. What do you think? Thanks.
That's a really tough word to use. Upgrade.
And let me upgrade you. I don't know if it's necessarily an upgrade, but more that you're at a different point in your life. And so some friends are in your life for a season. Mm-hmm. How old are you two? 27. Okay. Some friends are in your life for a season and your season has changed. And I think that these friends are, I mean, you were who you were for years. These are people that you've known since you were a child. So like, it's hard to adjust to somebody when they're going through a life change. And did you expect them to change along with you?
Especially you said this friend's visiting. Like, they're not
going to see you all the time.
Yeah. And I think like as someone who like, I quit drinking younger than you were, the like feeling like awkward and like I don't know if you feel like embarrassed of like, oh, like they're talking about this version of me and like I don't want this like great guy that I'm seeing like
know
said,
who
like,
that is.
Yeah, like who you were is who you were. Mm-hmm. And like that's why you are who you are today was because of like that person. And I think like if any of this for you is like overhauling to like match who you are now, you don't know that you're going to be this person forever either. And I think in general, like to have like consistency and like people who see us through different seasons of life, if we're feeling like a lot of like shame or embarrassment about like a version of ourselves that like, it doesn't sound like, it sounds like that's coming from you. It doesn't sound like they're being like, oh my God, like she was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like what
or
a
like
shit
I can't
show.
stand her now.
Yeah, I think like if it's coming from a place like that, then like of course these are people who are. But I think there's just like there's a very like weird narrative right now of like, you know, and it comes from like this like the puritanical fucking hyper feminine culture of being like your friends are just jealous and they're trying to bring you down.
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
like they're not always,
brother.
or like your friends like they're negative energy and like you're just like on a higher plane, like they're just all of this kind of stuff. And I think like to shift everything in your life, if you have made like true, good, positive change in your life, the people who are supposed to be there will also still be there. You don't need your friends to also do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to change all of that up as well. And like, you shouldn't feel awkward in front of like an ex. I mean, in front of a hookup. I'm sorry. You shouldn't feel awkward in front of a guy that you're dating if a friend is talking about
and if
who you were.
This is a great guy, like that they should accept you for who you were and like also see like if this is someone that you're like, this is who I want to be with, they should know who you were before.
Yeah. And I think if they're encouraging bad, destructive behavior, if you're
That's
like,
one
yeah,
thing.
that's like that's not good. But if they're like supportive of that of you, but they're just not there and like they do still want to talk. And like in general, when you have been friends with people, like you said, some of them have been friends since you were 13, you will talk about the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like you will talk about your history. You'll talk about that kind of stuff. So I think like owning that part of you and like who you were and then also who you are now, I think like the whole thing of like, oh, your friends reflect who you are. Sure, totally. But I think like if you need to be surrounded by people who are doing the exact same thing as you in order for you to keep doing this thing, that might be like more of an influence as opposed to a strong personal choice that you're making. And they should respect the fact that like you don't want to drink anymore. They should respect like the relationships that you're in and like all of that kind of stuff. But I just think in general, the phrasing of it and, you know, we obviously don't know, but like saying things like, I finally got healthy. My mental well-being is solid. I feel fantastic. All of this. Would your friends say the same thing?
Yeah. I feel like there's shame. Like you feel shameful about who you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to like look back and reflect on who you used to be. But like, unless you did something absolutely awful, which is a possibility.
Yeah.
There's, like you should forgive yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're missing as part of this growth thing is forgiving who you used to be, or even just like I used to party I didn't do drugs, but I did like drink a lot. And that's who I used to be. And she was cool. I think I had a great time, but that's not who I am now. But I don't look back on that time and be like, yeah, Melissa, you were a fucking mess.
I've noticed sometimes this behavior with people who like, I grew up in a very, very, very small town and people who had, and because of that, it was like really hard to kind of change from the perception that people had of you starting literally at like elementary school. Like, so, and there were some people who, when they went to college, close friends, we never heard from them ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Like they delete their social media. They do all of that. And that I'm like, you don't have to change. But that does come from a place of shame. And in general, I don't think any meaningful, long lasting change comes from shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like, especially if you've been friends with people for so long, if they're doing things that like make you uncomfortable, like, hey, can we, cause like, I understand it's like, can we like not talk about like, if they're talking about like someone you used to hook up with in front of this new guy you're dating, can you be, could we just like maybe not do that?
And that's just not cool.
Yeah. And so saying that, but I think like, you can be like very happy with where you are at. But I think if you have to reassure the people in your life that you are happy with that and they've known you really, really well for a really long time, like sometimes we maybe think we're doing amazing and we're super happy, but like the people who are closest to us and know us well can see like, hey, you can quit drinking. You can do all these things, but like there's, it feels like you're really trying to compensate here for this.
Yeah. And I think nostalgia is a big part of just like like when you're congregating with old friends.
Yeah.
Like you get caught up in that. I always, when I'm with my old friends, we're always talking about what we were doing, but we don't judge ourselves based on that either.
Yeah. And as someone who quit drinking very young, no one else did that with me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that didn't change the friendships, the close friendships and relationships that I had. And it didn't need to. I don't need to be surrounded by people who are also in that same vibrational like level.
Plane.
Yeah. But I think if it's like an entire circle of friends and it's not malicious, I do think in general, I think the upgrading of a term, that's like that. Yeah. That would really hurt. That would really sting.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's not upgrade, just friends that you have more in common with right now.
And that doesn't mean you have to end these friendships.
Rid of other friends though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we hope you all enjoyed that episode. This episode. I don't know why I said that. You can always leave a review on the podcast app as well as Spotify for this specific one. You can check out our socials, Patreon, watch the video versions there, listen ad-free, join our live streams we have there twice a month. Very, very fun. And just support the show.
Yeah, TikTok too.
Yep.
Also on Patreon, I posted a question that said, what's your favorite current song? And we talked about doing a
good call
playlist. So we're going to start doing monthly playlists. And
I love it.
So I guess in the last episode, we were talking about having sex in twin beds at college.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Josie posted, and people get down in a lofted twin bed. That is scary.
As someone who has been on the bottom of a bunk bed while someone was fucking, that changes your friendship forever.
I had a lofted bed before my roommate moved out. So mine was a lofted bed. And honestly, it was terrifying. I did it so that I could put my desk underneath because I wanted a little sitting area. I had a rail. But then after she moved out, I put it back down on the floor so I could mush two beds together. But like it wasn't a good time.
No, I remember people like did that like to start a freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know myself. Fun fact about me. In the words of Tila Dunn, fun fact, actually really sad fact. I was a thrasher when I slept as a kid. I had to have like, you know, when you like go from like a crib to like you transition to like a toddler bed or whatever. I had my like toddler bed that still had a bar up. So like it would lift up and it would just be on one side, not the top or the bottom, just the side and my bed would be against a wall. I had to install that on a twin bed because I would roll out of bed. And then finally I was like, I can't have this anymore. I'm 10. Like,
yeah,
I need to have sleep.
I'm a big girl.
I want to have a sleepover. So then I got a trundle bed and I had to pull out the trundle every night because I would roll from the top to the bottom. And now I like wake up just like very on the bed. And I'm like, when did that just like,
well, you're also in a king bed now.
Actually, I might have fallen out of bed in college a couple times.
Yeah. And didn't you say that Mott said that you do?
I move a lot in my sleep, but I don't I just like roll over.
Yeah. And you're in a king bed now. So
yeah, I guess maybe I have more space.
Yeah.
But like,
so if you weren't in a king bed, then you would be on the ground.
But just picture like me, probably like what, 5'5", 5th grade with like a bar on my bed.
Yeah.
Anyways, the end.
Tune in tomorrow for Fisting Friday. Monday we have But Am I Wrong? Tuesday, see you next Tuesday. Wednesday, play your favorite episode. And then we'll be back here on Thursday for Don't Blame Me.
Bye.
Goodbye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, Despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Have you ever heard about the 19th century French actress with so many lovers that they formed a lovers' union? Or what about the Aboriginal Australian bandit who faked going into labor just to escape the police, which she did escape from them. It was a great plan. How about the French queen who murdered her rival with poison gloves? I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. Every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know, and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts. And if you're curious, the people I was talking about before, the Australian woman is named Marianne Bugg, and the French actress was named Rochelle, no last name, just Rochelle. And the queen who poisoned her rival is Catherine de Medici. I have episodes about all of them.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first two seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the third season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.